Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 18 of Diehlman at Halftime, the NBA podcast that tops all others. I'm your host, Larry Diehlman. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome aboard, and if you've been a loyal listener, welcome back. We have much to get to today and not a lot of time to do it. We have a few sections that we'll get into, but it might not be the normal ones that you're used to. Let's get to our content for the week. There was a surprise coaching change in Brooklyn on Monday. Nets head coach Jacques Vaughn was dismissed after the team's 21-33 start before the All-Star break. Assistant coach Kevin Ollie is the interim. As the head coach of UConn in 2014, Ollie's Huskies won the national championship. He joined Brooklyn's staff at the start of this season. The Nets are 2.5 games out of a play-in tournament spot. Jacques Vaughn went 71-68 in his tenure in Brooklyn, including an interim position in the 2019-20 season. We know about flagrant fouls in basketball, but this one happened off the court. Pistons center Isaiah Stewart was arrested for punching Phoenix big man Drew Eubanks on Wednesday. Stewart was charged with assault, given a citation, and released. Stewart did not play on Wednesday, but this incident happened before the game. According to insiders, Stewart clocked Eubanks in the mouth, and Eubanks barely flinched. Wow. So I guess Isaiah Stewart is pulling a Draymond Green with clocking people. Finally, Minnesota Timberwolves guard Mike Conley has agreed to a 2-year, $21 million extension. Despite being 36 years old, Conley has started every game since arriving in Minnesota at last year's trade deadline. He gives them 10 points and 6 assists per game. In this special edition of Diehlman at Halftime, we'll take a look at All-Star Weekend. We'll look at the dunk contest, three-point contest, and the All-Star Game itself. Our normal highlight, lowlight, random stat, and game of the week will return next week. This episode is entitled Hoosier State Showcase. So, who's raising eyebrows at the moment? Let's go to our All-Star Weekend analysis, and similar to last week's trade deadline special edition episode where we had titles for each of the sections, we will do the same here. So let's start with Bullseye. Saturday's events, including the three-point contest and dunk contest, were held at Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the NFL's Indianapolis Colts. This year's three-point contest featured New York's Jalen Brunson, Indiana's own Tyrese Halliburton, Utah's Lauri Markkanen, Cleveland's Donovan Mitchell, Milwaukee's Malik Beasley, Atlanta's Trae Young, Minnesota's Karl Anthony Towns, and Milwaukee's Damian Lillard. And we also got to see a separate contest between Golden State's Stephen Curry and Sabrina Ionescu of the WNBA's New York Liberty. The first round eliminations were Beasley, Mitchell, Brunson, and Markkanen. Lillard, Halliburton, Young, and Towns all had 26 points in the first round, which led to a 30-second tiebreaker round. Halliburton was eliminated in the tiebreaker round after scoring just 12 points. Lillard, Towns, and Young set the bar with at least 15. They were also the three participants to make the final round. Young took down Towns, but it was Damian Dame Time Lillard who took the crown home for the second year in a row. He scored 26 points, and it came down to literally the last shot to win the contest. Talk about a narrow victory. With the win, Lillard was the 7th player in the contest's history to win back-to-back. In the other competition, Curry beat Ionescu 29-26. So Curry had the highest score of anyone on the night. A great performance all around. Let's go to our next section, which is called High Flyers. As usual, the dunk contest brought us unique dunks that we normally wouldn't see in a regular game. The contestants were Boston's Jaylen Brown, Mac McClung of the Orlando Magic's G League affiliate Osceola Magic, New York's Jacob Toppin, a two-way player and brother of Obi Toppin, and Miami's Jaime Jaquez Jr. The panel of 5 judges had 3 former dunk contest champions, Fred Jones, Darnell Hillman, and Dominique the Human Highlight Film Wilkins. Jaquez and Toppin started off with solid 47-point dunks, including Jaquez jumping over Shaquille O'Neal. Brown and McClung hit 48 on their first attempts. Jaquez and Toppin were eliminated in the second round, leaving Brown and McClung to battle it out in the final round. Brown's second-to-last slam was a tribute to Terrence Clark, a college basketball player from Boston who died in a car accident 3 months before the 2021 NBA Draft. His final dunk involved him wearing a Michael Jackson glove on his left hand while leaping over Donovan Mitchell, and no, I'm not making that up. The glove was a reference to fans saying he can't dribble with his left hand. For McClung, he jumped over 2 people for his third try and then over Shaq in McClung's high school jersey for the finale. So Shaq was wearing McClung's high school jersey and McClung jumped over him. After shocking the world with his title win last year, McClung defended his title to go back-to-back. It was good to see an all-star like Brown be in the contest instead of just bench players and G Leaguers. But will McClung go for a three-peat? Finally, let's go to the big game itself, entitled The Main Course. The All-Star Game wrapped up the 2024 NBA All-Star Weekend. The East All-Stars defeated the West All-Stars 211-186, and no, I am not making that up. It's the first time a team has eclipsed 200 points. And who hit the shot to get over 200? Indiana's own Tyrese Halliburton. The script writers, I guess, are working overtime on that one. Damian Lillard, fresh off a 3-point contest victory, was named the NBA All-Star Game Kobe Bryant Most Valuable Player. He had 39 points on 11 triples, including 2, not 1, but 2 half-court shots. Halliburton had 32 points and 10 threes. In fact, in the first quarter, he went 5 for 5 from downtown in a 92-second span. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 31 points, which led all West starters, although it was Karl Anthony Towns who casually dropped 50 points off the bench. He was stat padding most of his points at the end, but who cares? We saw 2 more All-Star records fall in this year's contest. A combined 193 points were scored in the first half, and the triples were flying. A total of 67 three-pointers were made between the two sides. The East All-Stars had 42 makes from three-point range, which is a record for most triples by one team. Excluding the All-Star draft years, which split away from the traditional East versus West format, the East snapped a potential four-peat by the West All-Stars. It'll be the Golden State Warriors' turn to host next year. Is it too early to start the countdown clock? Well, that's all the time we have for today. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on social media. I have 2 Twitter accounts and 2 Instagram accounts. The podcast accounts are under @Diehlman_NBA for both Twitter and Instagram. My personal Twitter is @LarryDiehlman18, and my personal Instagram is @Mr_sports18. They're also in the description on SoundCloud. And I hope you enjoyed the last 2 episodes, which were special editions. And remember, we are going back to highlight, lowlight, random stat, and game of the week in our next episode. And don't forget to spread the word about Diehlman at halftime. See you next time, fellow Hoops fans.